always going off. You know, you gotta make sure you're on point. That's what that word judgment means. To make proper judgment, a proper decision. Not a decision that's gonna jeopardize you. Go ahead.
Set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth. For you are dead, and your life is hid with Christ in Yahweh.
Yeah, we're hid in Yahweh Shai Mashiach. You know, that's why the world can't see us. That's why the world don't understand us, because we're hid. We're pushed into a place where we have to. It's in a solitary area, man. We gotta get right. That's why the scriptures say that we're like the offscoring of the earth. We're the filth of the earth. But what those people don't know, that we hold a thing that's worth more than anything they have in their possession. That anything that this earth can offer. That not even this earth was able to give birth to this wisdom. Wisdom gave birth to the earth. Yahweh Shai is the one that did that. Go ahead.
It says, for you are dead, and your life is hid with Christ in Yahweh. When Christ, who is our life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in glory. Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth.
There you go again, mortifying your members that are upon the earth. That word mortify is to cut out. It's to get rid of, to cut it out. Go ahead.
It says, mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness.
Yeah, fornication. You know, that goes back to the Greek word porneia. And that's talking about, you know, having illicit intercourse, anal sex, homosexuality. You know, that's uncleanness. Go ahead.
Inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry.
Yeah, you're coveting after another man's wife. You're constantly coveting after another woman. You know, you just gotta, basically what the scripture is basically saying, you gotta control yourself. You gotta have temperance. I believe that's what it said in Galatians. You gotta have temperance. Temperance is to have control. Go ahead.
It says, for which things sake the wrath of the Most High cometh on the children of disobedience.
Read it again.
Verse 5. Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry. For which things sake the wrath of the Most High cometh on the children of disobedience.
Yeah, that's why the wrath of Yahweh Shai is coming, because of that disobedience, man. That naughtiness. That rebelliousness. That shit that you people think is cute and that you're going to get away from it. Like all the brothers always use that analogy of kids and the father and the children. And the children's being naughty, and he tells them, stop doing it. Stop doing that. And it's going to come a time where that father's going to get a bell or get something, and that kid's not going to expect it, and all he's going to remember feeling was pain. Because of something that he did that was naughty, that was contrary to the Lord. Go ahead.
It says, for which things sake the wrath of the Most High cometh on the children of disobedience.
And if you ain't right with the Lord, that wrath is going to come upon you, man. Just like Sapphira and Ananias, when they sold their estate and they kept back some, they were found out to be liars and they were destroyed. Both of them. Because they lied to the Spirit. And who was that Spirit dealing with? Peter. They lied in the face of Yahweh Shai. So Yahweh Shai took their ass, took them out. Because they didn't cut that part out of that old man. They didn't cut that part out with being a liar. Or being a coveting. They still desired that money. They still desired that material shit that they had got rid of. Go ahead.
It says, but now ye also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication.
Yeah, that filthy communication is speaking that out of order, like not out of order, but you're speaking anything that's contrary to this word, the doctrine. That's that filthy communication. You pick up a new doctrine, You got this great idea. You think, oh, you got this epiphany about how you should do this one, how you should go about this way or that way, or well, this is what I think it says. You've been enlightened with some kind of great revelation, but it has nothing to do with anything we've ever taught. That's what's gonna get you people jacked up, and that's what you have to let go. The tongue, man, the mind is wicked. The tongue is untamable, and only Yahweh Shai can shut that mouth. Only Yahweh Shai can shut that mind out. This is what we say in the Revelation, that he has the keys of David, that he can open and shut any door that no man can open or shut. Talking about in the mind, man. Because these 2/3, they can't get this knowledge because their mind's shut to it. Go ahead.
But it says, but now you also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth.
Yep.
Lie not one to another.
Yeah, lie not one to another. That word lie is talking about being basically you're just being you're making up, fault. You're being false, fraud, falsehood. Go ahead.
Lie not one to another, seeing that you have put off the old man with his deeds.
Yep, putting off the old man with his deeds, because before you were a liar, before you were you had anger to the point that anger was getting you into trouble. You were doing things that what Yahweh Shai said not to do. You had filthy communication before you came into the truth. You were saying that UFOs were demons. You were saying that Jesus was a white man. You were speaking things that you weren't really really sure of. But now that you're in the truth, that shit should be gone. There's no need for it to be lying. There's no need to be having anger towards a brother, unless there's an actual valid, reason for it. But even at that, you're supposed to squash that immediately and get rid of it. Blasphemies, speaking things that are not contrary to the scriptures, man. Go ahead.
It says, and have put on, lie not one to another, seeing that you have put off the old man with his deeds, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him.
Yeah, which is renewed in the knowledge. So why are you still doing this shit, the old shit that you were doing before? Before you came into the truth, why are you still doing that shit? You gotta let it go. You gotta know that you're in your proper order, and know your lot. The elders are the elders. Nobody can be like the elders. No other brother can be like another brother. Every brother has their own distinct individual ways in their way of reading, thinking, as far as like not thinking, but just the way they do certain things. But if you start going out of that, you're gonna fall out, man. You gotta know your lot.
It says, where there is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision nor uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, bond nor free, but Christ is all and in all. And like the brother was saying, it doesn't matter what you are, who you are, or who you were in the world. When you come into the truth, there's regulations and rules in order to abide in the truth. And if you cross those lines, it doesn't matter who you are. If you were the president of the United States and you came in the truth, it doesn't matter. If you do something that's contrary to the scriptures, the Lord will cast you out. But it says, put on therefore, as the elect of the Most High, holy and beloved, vows of mercy, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering. Where's that one in Acts where it talked about the noble men, that when they were coming to the acknowledgement of the truth, they basically were more noble and ready. They were ready to hear and learn.
The church of Berea, and they searched out those things, whether they're true or not.
But that's a good example of what you should be, how you're supposed to be in the truth. You put off you thinking you know everything. You put off thinking that your reputation is going to get you somewhere in the truth. The Lord don't care about. The Lord gives you a reputation, man, and He only gives it to the ones who are actually honorable. Other than that, man, your status is nothing in the truth. we're all under the same law. We're all under the same rules, commandments, laws. Even the heathen are under it, but they don't abide it. They don't follow it because it's not for them, you know. But it says, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering, forbearing one another, and forgiving one another. If any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye.
And that's what the brotherhood. I ain't talking about no 2/3, no worldly person. It's talking about the brothers, and that's it. Go ahead.
And above all these things, put on charity, which is the bond of perfectness. And let the peace of the Most High rule in your hearts, to the which also ye are called in one body, and be ye thankful. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord. And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Yahushua, giving thanks to Yahweh and the Father by him.
Yeah, so basically that's summing up everything that I was saying, that you have to apply it daily and every single day of your life, and be serious about it every single day of your life, not just during the Passover or during certain high holy days. You got to do it, all the time. And if it's not being done, then you better change it. This is the brother said, it's spring cleaning, and that's what every camp is doing right now. And if the shit ain't gonna get in order, and there's adjustments that are gonna have to be be done. I got a Galatians 6:6. Let him that is taught in the word communicate unto him that teacheth in all good things. And that's us, of course, being within a camp. You're supposed to be amongst one another, speaking amongst one another, and that's who you communicate with, but also with the brothers that are in the four corners of the earth, watching the videos. We're not going to be able to speak to every brother, so we're going to be watching videos and learning from one another. Alright? Verse 7, be not deceived, Yahweh is not mocked, for whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. And that's going back to where Yahweh shall have no respecter of persons. You know what I'm saying? You think that you're in a good situation. You think your Most High is not watching that, and you're laughing in the Lord in his face, and he's gonna what you sow is what you reap. So you always gotta be on your watch, circumspect, and making sure everything is. We can only control what we can, but to the best of our ability, we got to make sure everything is all right within the body, and like I said, like I keep bringing out the scriptures about mortification. To mortify something, we got to get rid of it. We got to cut it out and do away with it and burn it, and don't look back at it and move forward. All right. Go ahead and get Colossians 1 and 19.
Colossians 1 and 19. This is Colossians chapter 1 verse 19. For it pleased the Father that in him should all fullness dwell, and having made peace through the blood of his cross, by him to reconcile all things unto himself. By him I say, whether they be things in earth, things in heaven. And you. Yeah,
so Yahushua is basically taking back everything that he created. The time of Esau and these 2/3 of wickedness thriving here on the earth is at an end. So he's taking back everything. And he's going to gain control of everything all over again. And he's going to endow that power first to his son Yahushua, like I said, that it pleased him. And it's going to be given to the elect, the joint heirs, the co-heirs, to his inheritance. All things. Alright, the heathen are going to be a possession. You 2/3 are going to come in. Y'all going to be with a shameful spirit. Y'all going to be feeling ashamed. And everything else is going to be subjected to us. Alright, go ahead.
It says, and you that were sometime alienated and enemies in your mind by wicked works.
Right, you that were alienated by what?
And enemies in your mind.
Enemies in your mind. Go ahead.
By wicked works.
By wicked works. And those wicked works, we were reading them to you. We were reading even to ourselves that those wicked works will separate us from Yahushua, and it will be to our destruction. If we don't separate, get that leaven out of our lives, Yahushua is going to do it for us, and he's going to have us destroyed. And that's what alienates us. That's what makes us, what people don't get the whole Gentile confused with, is that because we're not living according to this culture, this way of life of this nation, that they have lost its commandments, the Sabbaths and the high holy days. We're not going according to them. So that's what separates us from these people that are spoken of in the scriptures. Us Negro, Latinos, and Native American Indians, we are the true Hebrew Israelites, but the elect are the only ones that are going to be abiding by that. Which brings us back to the Father through Yahushua. We're no longer going to be alienated, strangers, Gentiles, a Gentile state of mind, because the Gentiles are not allowed to come into the sanctuary, this congregation, or anything that's unclean, anything that's wicked cannot come into this, and they will not go into it. Go ahead.
It says, and you that were sometime alienated and enemies in your mind by wicked works, yet now hath he reconciled in the body of his flesh through death.
Through the body of his flesh through death. Going back to the time of the Passover, that all represented Yahushua. Coming back on the earth and being crucified, going through everything he did. And being put to death and resurrected and going back and bringing us back to the Father. That's his flesh. Go ahead.
But it says, and enemies in your mind by wicked works, yet now hath he reconciled in the body of his flesh through death, to present you holy and unblameable and unreprovable in his sight.
Yeah, unreprovable in his sight, because the elect, no man can judge now. Go ahead.
If you continue in the faith grounded and settled.
If you continue in the faith grounded and settled. If you're not grounded and settled, that faith is your anchor. The faith is your anchor of your soul. So if you ain't got that faith, you're gonna fall out. You're gonna get, kicked out. Everything. It's like these examples. The examples that the elders have been speaking about. Sakari. Who else? Alizé. You got the Detroit camps. The Detroit camp, the Virginia camp. Even brothers out there in the GMS Dallas camp. The ones that nobody ever thought that would get kicked out. They're out. Go ahead.
It says, if you continue in the faith grounded and settled, and be not moved away from the hope of the gospel.
Yeah, be not moved away from the hope of the gospel. Meaning that you are given a certain amount, the measure of faith you are given, and you remain there unless the Lord increases you. But you remain in that same doctrine. You're not trying to make a new way, like the elders saying. You people are trying to go way too deep. But you're going so deep, you can't get yourself out of there. And the elder Gabar made a beautiful analogy on the pool. How there's a shallow end and there's a deep end. We all have to start in the shallow end. We don't ever throw our kids in the deep end. We start off in the shallow, and then you train them, and then they grab on the side, the edge of the pool, and then they kind of play with the deep, and they know they can only go so far, so they go back. You got some stupid ass motherfuckers that want to jump all the way into the deep end, and they can't come back up. That's what the elders are saying, that you go so deep. Instead of, they're just saying it a certain way, instead of being too deep, just be one deep. And that's what's happening to a lot of these guys. They're trying to be, like the brothers say, interstellar type people, man. They're trying to be out and above and beyond. Thinking that they know a thing. They don't know nothing. You didn't know nothing before you came in. You don't know nothing now. You know what the Lord showed you through the elders, and that's it. And that's where you have to be humble and give all glory and honor to those men and to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. But do exactly what is being commanded of you. And not be a hypocrite. Go ahead.
But it says, and if you continue in the faith grounded and settled, and be not moved away from the hope of the gospel which ye have heard, and which was preached to every creature which is under heaven, whereof I, Paul, am made a minister.
Yeah, but now he's being, through the Spirit, is being done through the elders. The elders since 2007, they've been pushing this word out on YouTube, dailymotion.com. Alright, and now there's bearing fruit everywhere through the four corners of the earth, so that it's being put out, published out through all the four corners of the earth, man. It's reached it's reached the Philippines. It's reached some parts of Africa, Europe. What more of the earth do we have to go to? If the Lord don't come back soon, next year, this year, whatever, it's gonna. This was never the truth, because the gospel has always been here, and every church always said that this was the truth. This is the truth. We have the truth. Okay. Well, the Presbyterians, the Roman Catholic Church, Pentecostal, the non-denominational, Methodist, all those different branches of the church are everywhere, but the Lord hasn't came back, and those been here hundreds of years. But this truth that's been recently revived and brought to the elders was back in the 60s. This in our time, 1960s. I wasn't born yet, but that's when it was brought out. You know? So it's just a matter of time. And if you don't believe in that saying, then you're just not, the Lord ain't dealing with you, because the Lord says that this truth has to be published through all nations. And everybody is knowing and hearing about the Hebrew Israelites. You got Edomites, you got other different nationalities that are saying, that are confessing that they know Jesus Christ is not a white man, that he's a black man, and they know that the Negroes today in America are Hebrew Israelites. So it's just a matter of time. I see the signs. The brothers see the signs. And it's just a matter of time when war pops off. And that's the beginning of the end. Alright? That's when the true beginning of sorrows begin. And that's around the corner, man. All that pride all these cities have, all the individual people, y'all people are going to be in a pitiful case, like it says in 2nd Esdras chapter 9, man. Because you took this thing as a light thing. You took this thing as that's a book. That's the Old Testament. That's the New Testament. The New Testament wasn't inspired by God. You know what I'm saying? Coming with all kinds of madness. But hey, you know what? Believe it, because we know that you're not part of the elect. You're not going to be of that number.
But it says, but if you continue in the faith, grounded and settled, and be not moved away from the hope of the gospel, which ye have heard, and which was preached to every creature which is under heaven, whereof I, Paul, am made a minister, who now rejoice in my sufferings for you, and fill up that which is behind of the afflictions of Christ in my flesh for his body's sake, which is the church.
Yeah, basically we got us brothers that are going out to the highways and the byways. We are those main examples. We are those examples, and we gotta be right. I got the scripture, 1 Peter 5 and 1. The elders which are among you I exhort, who am also an elder and a witness of the sufferings of Yahushua Mashiach, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. And this is Peter talking. I'm not an elder, so just in case people want to use videos or use like, oh, well, this certain camp said that they're elders. I'm just reading about I'm reading it precept upon precept. Verse 2, 1 Peter 5 and 2, feed the flock of the Most High, which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind, neither as being lords over God's heritage, Yahweh's heritage, but being examples to the flock. So that's our job, man. Like it said right there, Paul's job was to do that, to bear the sufferings and the marks of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai for the elect's sake. So the men that are on the highways and the byways that are coming in the name of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai under GMS, we have to be those examples. And we have to live that sincere and true life. Alright? It says, verse 4, and when the chief shepherd shall appear, ye shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away. And that's what we're waiting on, man. We're waiting that we're part of that number, and Yahweh Shai is gonna give us that our rest, or we're gonna be able to rest, and we're gonna be given that crown of victory, and that palm in our hand. Verse 5. Likewise ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. And that's what a lot of these, like the elders bringing out the scriptures, intimidated by you novice. You young men that are proud and have been turned over to Satan because you don't know shit. You're on this whole level that you think that you're holy and that you're a prophet and you're a Nazarite and all this other stuff. You haven't submitted yourself. Because if you can't submit yourself to the man that's in front of you, how are you going to submit yourself to Yahweh or Yahweh Shai? It says, likewise ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yea, all of you be subject one to another, to prove that we're not one is not better than the other, but there's an order. Like in the military, you got your commanding officers, you got your captains, you got your commanders, and all these different orders, and you can't step out that order. It says, likewise ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yea, all of you be subject one to another, and be clothed with humility. For Yahweh resisteth the proud, and giveth grace to the humble. And that's what exactly Yahweh Shai, he hates pride, and he will get you out. You can be proud, you can be humble and talk softly and all this stuff, or not even say words and stuff like that. But if you're proud in a way that you want to walk your way, you want to do what you want to do, then the Most High he's going to cast you out. Humble yourselves therefore under the mighty hand of Yahweh, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. So that's our job, man. Is to be humble and to be circumspect and pay attention to our surroundings. Alright, and to pay attention to ourselves as well. Because we are our worst enemy, and the devil will work off our flesh. Alright, and if you, again, it's vital that you get rid of that leavened bread, that leaven, alright, that's inside you, your mind, your desires, your lusts, your affections, and set your mind on things that are above. And that's what this word is about. That's what it's about. You got another one?
Yeah, this is Colossians chapter 1, verse 10. That you might walk worthy of the Lord unto all pleasing, being fruitful in every good work.
And how do you please the Lord? Having faith. Without faith, you can't please the Lord. And James, what does it say? That you have to have works. So it's not just faith alone. You have to have faith and works. That's how you please the Lord. Read it again.
That you, Colossians 1 and 10, that you might walk worthy of the Lord unto all pleasing, being fruitful in every good work, and increasing in the knowledge of Yahweh.
Yeah, increasing in the knowledge of Yahweh, because not just knowing the scriptures, you gotta understand. You gotta understand what's being told to you and what's being said to you. Not Isaiah 33 and 6, for wisdom and knowledge shall be your stability at that time. Okay, yeah, it's telling you wisdom and knowledge shall be your stability at that time, the strength of salvation. But how you applying that to yourself? How you applying that to your daily situation that you come across in your life, that the brothers ain't there, your Yahweh Shai ain't right there with you in your face physically telling you what you can and can't do. You have to have understanding. You got to understand what these things are trying to tell you, and not try to think about what you think is better for you. Go ahead.
It says that you might walk worthy of the Lord unto all pleasing, being fruitful in every good work, and increasing in the knowledge of Yahweh, strengthened with all might according to his glorious power, unto all patience and long suffering with joyfulness, giving thanks unto the Father, which hath made us meet to be partakers of the inheritance of the saints in light. In light, that's another point. that we're doing, the works of the flesh, the works of wickedness, it's not light. You know, the Most High, he doesn't have he's not in agreement with the darkness. You know.
Yep.
But it says, who hath delivered us from the power of darkness, and had translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son. You know, and how did he do that? Like I just said, from the flesh, because we were going upon our flesh the whole time. But it says, and had translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son, in whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sins.
Mm-hmm.
And it said it on that